Hey, how's it all going? Alright, we've got another instalment in Coit's crazy classic Dungeon Zerg series. This one's a little bit more extreme. A little bit of backstory to this. Back in the day, what you'd have is a full party of players would come in. Everyone would stand up the top here, and one fellow, usually the bloke with the fastest movement rate and the most cojones, would do the run. And once he got to the end of the run, managed to get into the gate, then the entire party would finish out, and you'd repeat it. This part of Splinter Skull and the next couple parts are two-part dungeons. You complete the one area to move on to the next, and then the same thing happens again. And in both of them, you can actually repeat the first part by not completing the second one. You kind of, if you don't know exactly what I mean, you'll be able to work it out pretty well. Now, this is probably the most crazy Zergathon style run of a dungeon, the most reckless way to do these things that I'm aware of. We used to do it on a regular basis, and back then the XP didn't degrade quite as quickly. So doing, let's say, 7 or 8 elite runs in the space of 9 or 10 minutes was actually an extremely efficient way to earn a lot of XP for the entire party very, very quickly. So, you know, a dungeon that doesn't apparently have all that much XP for the work you have to do, all of a sudden becomes an absolute gold mine. So, as you can see, I've got to the point where I've got my red alert up fully. There is one place where we have to get a key. This is where I'm going to fight my fight. Generally, you'd pick the character with the highest PRR. And the ability to displace himself and protect himself and deal the sort of DPS that you need to be able to clear this alert before you move on to the very end of the dungeon. So slightly mental, as you can see, but what you basically get is one big fight instead of an unending series of fights. It's not a really good XP per minute experience if you run this as it was intended, but if you run it this way, it's pretty damn good. Of course, being out of practice, I should have brought 2 invis clickies. I could have done the last bit invis as well, but I'm just going to balls it out for the final run to the gate now that I've got to the key. Now, part 2, when you get into the door, is pretty quick as well. And then the following 2 sections of the dungeon are basically a repeat of this without the need to get the key. So once again, that was another place where we would do 8 or 9 elite runs in the space of about 10 minutes, because you don't have the champions who automatically spot you, as you may have noticed, and you don't have the need to grab the key. You basically just got to make it to the door to get a completion. So this is one of the most extreme examples of that Zerg mentality that I know of, especially in the lower levels. As you can see, the lag's kind of against me here. I've clicked on the door, it's finally come up, and you're through. And then this part, of course, is very short and sweet. You can just run out there and kill them. I had a mate that used to delight in doing this with 0 kills. Because of course you get your discrete bonus if you can do that, but I'm just not that picky. The XP for this part is so small that any bonus you get is negligible in my opinion, so just not worth doing. But I don't know if anyone's familiar with Old Grey. I don't think he's played for a long time now, but the guy was a perfectionist. You know, I actually learned quite a bit about the game playing with him, especially the older content. He was a master of the game. A lot of fun to play with. Just his predilection for using grease clickies on people he was playing with was a bit of a pain in the rectum, I've got to say, until you could get some boots with foam on it. Yeah, it was quite painful, but you get that, you know. So anyway, as you can see, this second part's pretty damn easy. It's just run to the end, speak to the guy. You do actually get a little bonus for detecting that secret door, so why not? You know, that's free XP, isn't it? Right there. Kill this couple, speak to this guy, it's done. And then, of course, the next two parts of this dungeon are basically a repeat of what you've just seen, except without the champions and without the need to grab the key. So you just run it the same way. And then when you get to this second stage, of course, it's a much longer job, and I might put that one up later. Okay, see you guys.